We still have some seats up here if you want to come find a seat. Otherwise, we're going to get started in about 30 seconds. Hey, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming out to December's coffee break. Hey, everybody. Hello. All right, so welcome to December's coffee break. My name is Christopher Wood. This is Nate Tucker and Dylan Wissenat. We are with Hive Think and Be Caffeinated, and Coffee Break was created to serve as I know this is a bad word, but networking group for people that don't like networking. So we're all about the relational aspect instead of transactional. We are the crossroads for small businesses, nonprofits, resources, artists, and everything in between. And so something I like to do every coffee break is get you guys to raise your hand. So everyone, no, I'm just kidding. So I am going to make you raise your hand, though. So if you're a small business person, raise your hand for me. Awesome. If you're an artist, raise your hand for me. All right, if you're a resource or a politician or anything like that. All right. That's also a bad word, I know. Did I forget? And then if you're a nonprofit, raise your hand. Awesome. And if you check all of those boxes, raise your hand. Do we have any of those? That would be weird if it was. So if you haven't already, there should be some coffee, hot chocolate in the back, and then we have some pastries from Morning Bee Bakery. But thanks for coming out today. I'm about to turn it over, but we have a really cool talk and panel today. We had an awesome musician and artist that Nate's going to talk about, and then this beautiful space. So here you go, Dylan.
Thanks, Chris. So I'm Dylan. Thanks for coming, y'all. If you haven't noticed, we have a great Discord group that you can scan the QR code and then join if you want to keep the connection and the networking going every single day. You can talk to us whenever you want, so I think it's a pretty good deal. If you just scan the QR code by the coffee, you can join that Discord group. Also, if you're ever interested in any kind of social media, marketing, any kind of strategy, or management questions, then you can reach out to me or any of the Hive Think team over here. I just wanted to make that announcement, and we'll pass it to Nate for shout-outs.
Awesome. Thank you, Dylan. So before we get things going with our panel, we just want to thank all the great folks who helped to make this coffee break happen. So starting, of course, with our amazing venue of Clear Story Arts. So thank you to Clear Story. If they could get around. And then we're going to invite our friend from Clear Story to come talk about everything that they do.
Hi, all. My name's Danielle Quessenberry. I'm the operations. Woo! Thank you. I needed that. I'm the operations manager here at Clear Story. I'm also the founder of Out Here, the South's premier LGBTQ+ storytelling platform, and I was just recently nominated for Community Liaison for Pride here in Chattanooga. Woo! So if you have a second, December 22nd, to jump on and vote for me, that'd be great. Had to give myself a little shout out. I know we're networking, but now let's talk about Sorry. Now let's talk about Clear Story. So Clear Story just recently became a nonprofit. Celebrate. Woo! Thank you. We have over 40 studios with 60 working artists here in Chattanooga. We have this beautiful gallery space and the workspace. Our mission is to make art and art spaces more accessible to our community. We're constantly looking for new programming and partnerships with other nonprofits now that we have ventured into this nonprofit space. So if you're interested in hosting courses, classes, webinars, if you want to do some programming with us, let me know. You can find us on clearstoryarts.com, and you can email me at hello@clearstoryarts.com as well. I'm super grateful that you're all here today. Please enjoy the art. Feel free to walk around the halls. All of our studio artists have art hanging on their walls as well. Our next First Friday will be January 3rd. It will be our internal members only. We would love to see you here. There's free wine. And anything else, just find me and ask questions. I might have the answers. Thank y'all.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me here. Oh.
I'm so sorry, Fred. I love the enthusiasm, but a few more shout-outs. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Clear Story. They're amazing. Check them out. And speaking of art, we want to thank our artist who's here today, Amy, if you'll come up.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me here today. My name is Amy Packer. I'm a landscape artist here in Chattanooga, and I joke, but it's kind of true that I started painting in 2020 when I got tired of baking bread. So that's brought me to this part. And my website is amypackerartwork.com, or on Instagram, amypackerartwork as well. And I just try to capture the magic of nature that we're so lucky to be surrounded by here.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Amy. Then I want to thank our musician, Anna Baldry. And if you want to come up, tell us about yourself. Awesome. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, my name's Anna. I'm a Chattanooga native, and I play music around Chattanooga. So, yeah, singer-songwriter. So.
Perfect. Thank you, friend. Well, where can people listen to your music?
On Spotify and Apple Music and everything, my name is Anna Baldry.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, awesome. So after that, of course, we have to do a big thank you for, I'm repping for them today, our friends at United Way of Greater Chattanooga. Cassie, do you want to share a bit about everything that y'all do? Awesome. Yeah.
Woo! Thank you. So honored to be able to along on this coffee break today. Just love what Be Caffeinated and Hive think, what you guys do for the community and our nonprofits. We're so grateful. And I know many of you here today are community investment partners of United Way of Greater Chattanooga. And it's so cool to see you come out and just have this time as community together to stop and pause in this busy season. So thank you for being here. I did want to just give a quick mention about our grant process. It opens on January 15th. You can go to unitedwaycha.org and go to our community investments tab, and we've got videos, we have webinars, we have documents, we have all the questions out there so you can see what that process is going to look like. And if your 501c3 has been around since January 2022, please apply. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about? There are some other United Way folks in the room. Will you raise your hand? Lots of team members here. So if you have any questions about any of the work we do, please come up and talk with us. We'd be happy to share with you. And thank you to our CI partners that came out this morning. I'd asked these guys if we could do a panel this month. We were thinking about, the holidays are all about gathering and coming together. And in October, we had hosted this Co-Starters Boot Camp at United Way. And amazing thing happened where we had something's going on with this mic. It's all good. We had 7 different people there, 3 of which are sitting here on our panel today, and they came to work on their own projects, but something just clicked in that room, and y'all just found common ground, and they're continuing to meet. They've met this month and are like, how can all 7 of our organizations come together to do something to drive change in this community? And I'm like, wow, just what a sign of true collaboration and leadership to be able to think what can we do by everybody giving a little to do more for our community. So grateful y'all are here. And I'm so grateful that Will accepted my invitation to be our facilitator. Will O'Hearn's our new executive director of the Chattanooga Public Library, if you've not met him. He's windshield wipered across the U.S. before landing here, but we're so glad he's landed here. I don't know if you've been in, but I always tell him when I go up to that counter, there used to be 2 family passes you could check out, and now I'm like, you need more shelves, Will, because he's just out in the community building these relationships, a true sign of collaboration and what community building looks like. So super excited to have him lead this panel with these incredible humans for you today. Do I hand it to Will?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cassie. And we're going to get to that in just a second. Yeah. Thank them so much. Yeah, and then so final shout outs is I want to thank Jam Sessions Productions for live streaming today's coffee break and doing all of our sound. Thank you so much to Joshua and his team. Of course, thank you, a bit of a self pound in the back, but thank you to Be Caffeinated and Morgan Bakery for providing our treats today and our coffee. And final one is actually our give back partner for this month at Be Caffeinated. So the nonprofit we're supporting is our friends at Be the Change Youth Initiative. And they were actually able today to come out with one of their ambassadors of change, which is a local student who's active in the community and doing great stuff. And we want to give them the chance to speak a little bit about what they do before we get into our panel. So, yeah.
Good morning. I'm going to give just a brief overview for those of you who might not be familiar with our organization. Sydney started it when she was 15, and for the last 8 years almost, we have worked with youth trying to normalize the conversations around mental health and create opportunities for them to use their gifts and talents in the community, because we have found that when youth see that they have gifts that can be used for the betterment of society, they find purpose and meaning in their life. And so we want to do that. And I'm really excited too. I also want to say, because Sydney and I were a part, and one of our goals next year, we have decided over the last couple of months, is that we are just going to primarily focus on our ambassadors of change, because our dream is to have high school students collaborating and connecting with nonprofits, doing the work in their communities, and teaching them to be advocates. And so that's really our goal, is to really kind of uplift the youth, encourage them, and provide them for opportunities to engage and be leaders in their community. I'll let Sydney speak.
So one of the things that I'm really proud of with our Ambassadors of Change program is the amount of youth that we've come in contact with, and the time that we've gotten to spend just being very intentional with engaging with them and teaching them how to take on leadership roles, whether that be learning about media or hosting an event. What does it look like to have conversations about difficult topics? And I always share this story. One of our Ambassadors of Change, when we were talking about what topic we were going to focus on for the remaining school year and for this upcoming project that the panel will be sharing with you all today, was food insecurity. And she mentioned during one of our panel discussions at another event, she was like, the reason I chose this topic was because it was the thing that I knew least about. And even just in that shows so much of what as leaders we're supposed to be stepping into, where we feel like a lot of the times we need to have the answers to everything in order to lead people very well. But sometimes it takes a lot of humility, and we have to step into things that we don't know the answers to and that we're unaware of, in order to come together and say that it's okay not to have the answers. It's okay to choose to do something that you feel like you don't know a lot about, because we're better together and we grow together. And all of our ambassadors have that posture of humility and are stepping into something because they feel like, I have something to contribute. And if we can encourage people to see that, and not just youth, but adults as well, we all have something to bring to the table, then we're doing our job well. But we wanted to have one of our ambassadors today, Lucy, share a little bit about her experience being an ambassador and why she is passionate about it.
Hello. I don't need to introduce myself anymore. I appreciate that, y'all. So I'm with Be the Change Youth Initiative, and raise your hand if you've ever made a mistake. And I know we said we weren't doing that a lot today, but... And raise your hand if you've ever been guilty of it. Yeah, that's how life is. And I think something we need to do as people is realize no matter what mistakes you make, good or bad, whatever, you're growing and changing. That's what Be the Change is about, and kind of what she said. And whenever I'm having a busy day as a senior in high school, and just people in general, we're all busy. Like, we all are. Like, we can't compete with it. We just are. Like, that's how life is. And like, I just remember my mom would tell me before I left to go to meetings or events for Be the Change, she would be like, go be the change. And it was kind of a joke of ours. But it's something that's important too. Like, we know that change is important. Like, everyone here, I think, in this room can agree with that. Like, but I think whether nervous or not, just remember, like, you can be the change, whether it's donate, I'm just kidding, but whatever you're doing with an organization, like, as long as you're growing and changing, making mistakes, whatever, you're doing something good. Like, all these organizations that we've talked about and so many more that have contributed to the event in general, Be the Change, whatever, like, everything that's been listed today is great. And just remember, like, if you're having a rough day, you're being the change. And I'm looking forward to all of our projects, which you haven't looked up. Follow us on the gram, as the kids say. Be the Change Youth Initiative. You'll see so many great people on there, like our other ambassadors that we talked about, which are wonderful girls, great people. We also have guys in there, don't get me wrong, but this year it's been girls. But generally, like, just great people, and thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. That was awesome. To turn it over to the panel, and this is, like Cassie was saying, just an awesome example of what community and collaboration can look like. One more time, if you're a nonprofit, raise your hand, or associated with one. Cool. So I was tasked with reminding everyone. So as Be Caffeinated, we have a monthly give back program. She is our Give Back coordinator slash training manager. So if you're a nonprofit and you're interested in looking at, I'll just shout. If you're interested in seeing what it would take to try and get on our calendar for next year, go talk to her after this. And then, interesting fact about Chattanooga is it is one of the highest per capita nonprofits city in the nation. Is that right? Yeah, which is crazy. Which means that, cerebrally, you're like, okay, we're all competing for the same money. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it. But what these guys are proving is that instead of fighting against each other, they work together and work together with that money. And so we love collaboration, we love community. People ask us all the time, like, hey, that coffee shop, aren't they your competitors? Like, how many people are competitors? You can't serve that many people. I make a lot of cookies right now for this thing, and I can't imagine trying to do that with coffee too. And so I think it's beautiful that each spot has their own specialty and their own place that you can go to. And so I think with nonprofits, it's the exact same. They each have their specialty, they're each their own unique value proposition. So we're working together with our own specialties, but with an overarching goal of just trying to do better, or in this case, the food insecurity issue of Chattanooga. Then everyone wins, everyone rises together, and we're working together instead of against each other. So we're going to turn it over to Will, and we're going to have a good game.
Thank you so much. For real this time. Well, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I know you heard, but I'm Will O'Hearn. I'm the Executive Director of the Chattanooga Public Library. I'm just going to pretend like this. Is it working? I can't even hear it. Is it working? Okay, good. Okay, great. Executive Director of the Chattanooga Public Library. When Cassie asked me to run the panel, I was super excited because collaboration is one of my favorite things. Sharing is one of my favorite things. And so I think I'm pretty new to Chattanooga, about a year and a half. And so that's really something that's uniquely part of the fabric and culture here is this really collaborative, open atmosphere. And that's something I really love and is kind of part of my values too. So I'm very pleased to be here to talk about something I'm really passionate about and I think really makes a difference in our community. So we have a great panel here. I just met them all today. So if I'm just going to go ahead and hand the microphone to you all and have you introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your work, and then what inspires you to make a difference in our community. And Mark, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Thomas, Executive Director for an organization called Corner Revolution. Grew up in Chattanooga, the South Chattanooga community, Alton Park, went to Howard High School, and so that community has a special place in my heart, has given so much to me. So growing up and just kind of seeing, in my opinion, that it was kind of an untapped community for resources, right? And wanted to be able to give back, and seeing students who look like me and have went through some of the same challenges I went through as a kid, wanted to be able to kind of change that and change their mindset. So we started Corner Evolution about 10 years ago. We meet with students from Howard High School, Howard Connect, East Lake Academy, Brainerd High School. Right now we're in Archinard Middle School, and we do a lot of things in the community. But our newest initiative you've probably seen rolling around Chattanooga is our mobile shower. So our kids built a mobile shower from the ground up that goes to different homeless camps and businesses and provide free hot shower resources and food and things like that for our unhoused neighbors. So that's my story.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Watkins, and Executive Director for Hope for the Inner City. I'm a transplant. I'm not from Chattanooga. I guess think if we talk long enough, you gather that. And I made notes today, too, before I even get into it, because I'm a rambler. I love talking and sharing. So Hope for the Inner City in some form has been here since 1972. And I say that because any organization, business or otherwise, they go through iterations of change. And so it started off with a family here in town on Mitchell Street and some students from Covenant College coming down doing Sunday school. And then it became street ministry, and then it turned into inner city missions, where they were focused on immediate needs. They provided food, clothing, help with utilities of such. So that started in '76. And as the story goes on, the founder of the first organization, Inner City Missions, Randy Neighbors, was a pastor, and he was one of those students coming down from Covenant to do the Bible studies. Came back from seminary and other travels and started another effort, all of it around caring for the community. It was more community development. that created Hope for Chattanooga. They did housing, renovated built homes. They would assist the community similar to what was already being done. And in 2007, the two organizations created Hope for the Inner City. So it was Inner City Missions, Hope for Chattanooga, and in 2007 it became Hope for the Inner City. I'm from the North. I'm one of those, as they say, I think I can say this, damn Yankees. And I was told the definition is someone that from the North decided to stay here in Chattanooga. So I'm here. I've been in Hope for about 3 years, December 2020. It was joined New City Fellow, created
Do you want me to use it? Yes, okay. Hey y'all, Maggie Caruth O'Connor here. I run TEDx Chattanooga and Highland Park Porch Fest. I'm not really sure why I'm up here, but I will say what drives me is knowing that there's just so much passion and talent in this city. And I mean, this room is a clear example of that. And really just trying to showcase and give folks a platform to be able to share their passion and their talent. And then vice versa, giving the world the opportunity to see what's coming out of Chattanooga. So that's kind of the driving force behind the things that I do.
Thank you so much for that. So I want to change gears a little bit, ask you guys what makes a collaboration successful, and then if you guys can think of a collaboration that really made a lasting impact and a big change in people's lives. I'd love to hear that. And I'm actually going to go reverse, so I'm going to put, if you don't mind, Meg, I'm going to put you on there again.
Okay, so this question is actually kind of funny for me because growing up, I don't know if y'all were the same. There probably are some folks who were this way, but I hated group projects. Hated it, just didn't want to engage in that way. But reflecting back, I think it was because I just trusted myself and it was hard for me to trust other people. So I think for me and at least in my experiences, collaboration is successful when you trust yourself, you trust what you bring to the table, but then you also trust what other people are bringing to the table. And moreover, trust what everybody says in terms of what sort of weight they're going to pull, trust that they're going to pull that weight. So I think trust is super, super key, not just blindly going to something like that, but really just trusting what people say they can do.
Talk about more about trusting yourself. I don't know if you're trusted.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, I think it takes time to figure out what you are good at and the things that you can bring to the table. It takes a lot of reflection and a lot of introspection and feedback from people. So I think trust is built when you're able to be in community, be with people who you can get that feedback from to really understand what your superpowers are. And then also be like, that's cool. I have shortcomings, so does everybody else. So knowing that that's okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Collaboration? All right. I slowed down. I think that's a really big buzzword these days. Everybody kind of has their own version of what that looks like. So as I start thinking about it, collaboration, I'm thinking about participation, working towards a common goal. How do we partnership? It means a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, what we find is there's differences amongst us all individually in our work and how we do things. And if we're trying to do something really well, literally in relationship, you're not intended to do it by yourself. You got people work immediately with you. You got people that work outside of you. You know, I like to say the heartstring. I can tell a story and it can impact one person one way. The same story is going to be so different for the other person. So again, it's back to what does it mean? We do it every single day. People that we know, we work together. We work towards a cause. Your work, your jobs, nonprofits, you have a cause. And ultimately, it comes down to, if it matters enough, you're going to find a way. I think is always in us, but we have to push ourselves to actually find a way. And if you do it by yourself, you might miss something. Coming together, you're going to glean so much more from a collective than you are singularly. So it makes it even more important. It makes it a little easier. It doesn't get as weighty. You asked about an example of collaboration. Let me go do that. So moved here in 2016, started working at Launch. You guys know about Launch here in the city in 2017. In 2019, an opportunity came to Launch. Virginia College closed off of East Brainerd. The owners was trying to figure out what to do with this huge kitchen. It's 5,000 square feet, amazing space. Now, I had a catering service. I'm a foodie, I'm a chef. When I saw that, someone said, what could we do with it? It is untapped. Just let us in. And we started right before COVID. So these talks were going on around December of 19, January, February, the decision, how the leader at Launch said, yeah, we're going to work with that. And he handed me the keys in so many ways. It's like, you know what you're doing. And with COVID, everything stopped. The caterers, small business owners, a lot of things was going on. Let's move the impact to Chattanooga Housing Authority. It had seniors, it had communities where now with everything locked in, no one could get food. So here we were, thinking about it. This kitchen thing happened. We didn't know. We got it because Launch, the participants there, 20 to 30% of the people are foodies. They're trying to start a business. So with the idea, we have this kitchen. What are we going to do with it? Large kitchen. We've got COVID. We've got community needing food. So we push the idea with some funders coming and say, hey, we will fund an idea or program, but it's all about feeding. We found 6 different business owners who were caterers or had small businesses in Chattanooga. So I'm gonna fast forward. Got these folks together. In 45 days, we opened up, I think it was May 2nd of 2020. The program ran to September 15th of 2020. We fed put out 40,000 meals. Now, we had the team in the kitchen putting these meals together every week, 3,000 meals, twice a week. We then had to figure out a way how to get to the food to the people. So then churches came along, nonprofits came along. Hey, I got a truck. I got a reefer truck. We can do a lot of things. So we had the team inside. We had the team outside getting the food there, but still there's logistical things that have to happen. So we had groups of people coming together, and in short, in 3 months, we provided meals for seniors who couldn't do it for themselves. Some of the folks weren't just seniors, but small nonprofits, small churches, everybody needs food. That's the number one need. If you don't have that, it's hard to think of anything else. But those 90 days, it was amazing at what happened, how we set up, how every day food was in, food produced, it was out the door. We had people coming in packing bags so the food could go out the door. That was huge. And it's out of a need. There was a cause. We had to do something about it. And I can't tell you how many, but hundreds of people came together to make sure we can get this food to the community, to those who needed it, for the time we had, because we had money to go so long. And again, it's back, let's figure it out. How can we use this funds and how long can we go to do the work we need to do? That was amazing. And you guys, the Kitchen Incubator today is killing it. But it started with an idea on how we could help and make a difference. That's what collaborating is, making a difference. When someone's down, someone comes along and brings someone up.
That's a great example. Thank you.
So collaborating for us, I mean, is huge, right? We have to be able to collaborate. We understand we're not the end-all, be-all to every single problem or issue or concern that our students have, right? So that was huge for us, but most importantly, what we saw in the way we started collaborating, we wanted to collaborate with the people we serve, right? We didn't have all the answers, and we didn't want to provide programming or services or things that people didn't need. So we started bringing them to the table, bringing them and making them a part of the planning process, right? And now we get buy-in, and they're actually facilitating the programs. They're actually telling other students, hey, don't mess up here. Don't break these things. We got to be able to, have this so we could, continue this program and be successful, right? So collaborating for us comes in a lot of different shapes and forms, but most importantly, in what stands out for our collaboration is that we bring our kids and empower them and let them make decisions, and we just kind of coach them and make sure that they, they have big dreams, as you can imagine, kids, right? So we want to make sure we kind of bring them back down to earth, but let them know that let's put a plan together. Let's see how we can work it together and figure it out. So that's what collaborating for us look like, is having buy-in. So if that's with our kids, if that's with another organization, we want to make sure you have your opinions and things on the table, and we're working towards a common goal together. So,
great answers, everyone. I appreciated that. So I want to ask you one more question, and then I'm gonna collaborate with you, because we're about collaboration. So I'm gonna open it up here. But if there's one thing you want everyone to take away to know about collaboration, about the power of it, how to do it, what would it be? If you want one takeaway from this, everyone's probably excited about collaborating, seeing all the wonderful things that it can lead to. Great example, by the way. What would you want people to take away about collaboration here? I'm going to start in the middle, if you don't mind.
I'm going to keep it short, y'all. It's pretty simple. I don't try to complicate life. I mean, we get up every morning. We got to be thankful for that, period. In the midst of what we do and when we spend our time, we need to be thoughtful of that. And in essence, making a difference is the beginning as towards trying to figure things out. I wake up every day looking for an opportunity to share with someone how they can help someone else in the midst of doing the work. And so we can do more of that. And to go along with that, Chattanooga being one of the largest small, mid-sized city with so many nonprofits, you got to ask the question, if I want to start a nonprofit, should I start it? Or should the question be, who is doing what I want to do, and can I come alongside? So we can do that. It's not a competitive space. It seems as so, especially when we're going for funding. Someone already said it. So many trying to get funds to do the work, and you got to think about funders. If we can come together and work, and I want to say this, I used to have this etched on my wall, I can do so much if I don't worry about taking the credit for it. It's the work. Justice, we have to do things right. We got to care for folks. We got to show kindness. And we have to worry about it's I, because it's nothing about I gets anything done. It's what we can do together. So if there's one thing, just do the work. Don't worry about the rest, because your work will show who you are and what you do, and that's enough in the midst of it all.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, great answer. I think to piggyback on that, it's easy to say, I want to collaborate, and I think that we should join forces, right? It's really easy to say those types of things. So I think if there's one thing to take away, and something that I need to remind myself of, is it's hard work to find ways to collaborate, right? It's not just going to happen. So just knowing that there's a lot of effort that you have to put into truly effectively collaborating, like knowing that it's not just like more than a, hey, I'm going to email you, and then that's that, right? It's so much deeper than that. And I have to remind myself of that as well. It's harder to collaborate, I think, than it is to just go alone on your own journey. But that's the point, right? I think that's the point. We got to do the work, like Anthony said.
I say, think of what you do in your everyday lives with your families, with your friends, coworkers. You're collaborating on something every single day, because life be lifing, right? So look at it in, how, the people who walk alongside you help you in your daily quests and daily struggles and things like that. So if you look at another organization that can help, I think it's the same thing. So I think that's what makes it easy for me, because we all need help at some point. And if our job is to serve people, and we know that we don't have every bit of everything to offer, we have to find those people who do and be a resource for people. So that's what I will give you to take with you.
Thank you so much. Great job, everyone. I want to open up. Oh, yeah, go ahead, clap. Let's do it. Yeah. But we're not over yet. I want to hear from you. Again, I'm going to collaborate with you. Who has some questions? I can come around and get the mic on here. Who has a question here for our panel? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, okay, just kidding. Just kidding.
You said something very powerful about collaboration, and even though I'm for profit, collaboration still needs to happen. Thank you for helping me out. I really want, and Michael, where you at too? Michael, he also helps. But honestly, my question is this: how would you go about collaborating here, specifically in Chattanooga? Because I think there are a lot of people who see the need to collaborate. I hear it at least once a day. But what would you say are maybe best practices, or, hey, I have this idea. What would you suggest for a person to actually move forward and to actually tangibly collaborate with other people? Well, you made me think about it, so I would love to hear your points, or everybody's point.
If you guys are ready, go for it.
It doesn't matter.
You know what Maggie said earlier, in the sense of, you have to do more than just say, let's collaborate. So at the end of the day, it's like in anything that you really do, when you latch onto something, you become very intentional about it. So I'm a word guy. I mean, meaning what you say, you should understand what you're saying clearly. If you're going to be intentional, that means you're going to take some action and something's going to happen. So first off, if we come to some agreement, say we're going to get together, it's going to begin with an email, a cup of coffee at a shop. But you got to say, let's try to figure this out. And again, collaboration at its pure sense is like, I know what Will does now, and if I spend time with him, I know more what he does. In the midst of that, knowing what I do, we're all trying to help. Literally, we're all trying to help. And I can only do the good that I do good. I can't do the good for everything, but if Will has a good that I know of and aware, I can go to him and say, hey, I've got a situation, I want to talk to you about that, how can you help? And he's going to chime in because I know him, yes, we can do that. So intentionality has to be that first step, more than just, how you doing? How many times do we say that to people and we don't have time to listen to them? You have to be careful and intentional, and that will move things along in a way, because just by taking that seriously, that next step, you're going to hear something else. And we know you hear it. Be good listeners. Don't be trying to answer a question beforehand. Now, I'm getting all over the place here, but be intentional, and that'll make a huge difference.
I'm going to say something too. This is not advice. This is more of just a realization, and I don't know if I'm the only person that would say this, but I'm just going to say it. I think it's hard to do that, because here we are saying that Chattanooga has the most nonprofits per capita in the country. Like, that's wild. But did y'all know about these 2 nonprofits before this morning? No. And that's pretty much the case for most of the nonprofits in this city. So I don't really have an answer, but I do want to say I want to find an answer, right? I want there to be more resources for folks like us to be able to collaborate, be able to partner with these overlooked and underfunded organizations. So I don't have any advice, but I do, if anyone wants to collaborate and help me figure this out, I'm game.
So I just want to piggyback. It's a question or kind of a statement. The people that, like yourselves, who have organizations, do you all ever just say, hey, we're going to meet at a coffee house and we're just going to talk? And we're going to, because I think the power of Chattanooga right now and really collaborating is literally, hey, let's, like the gentleman said, let's just sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about your problems. Does that ever happen a lot for the big wigs, quote unquote? I don't know.
I can't speak for the big wigs, but what we were in the co-starter boot camp a few weeks ago, I guess, and like we said, we all probably went in there. We didn't know each other when we walked in, but I think we left with we were super optimistic about how we can grow collaboration in the city of Chattanooga. So we started meeting. We've actually had 2, I think, initial meetings, and not just on programming, right? But one of the things I think you have to be willing to do is cultivate a relationship, right? Because I think that's going to bring more the product. You're going to bring out a better product at the end of the day. Like if you're willing to cultivate relationships, and everybody's super busy, got their own things. It's the end of the year giving, all of those things going on, annual reports. But you have to be able to get out and cultivate relationships. Come to things like this. I hate panels, but. No. Just being honest. From a not, and let me kind of clean that up. But not from a. Like, I like what this is about. I actually love that, like, there's a lot of people in the room I don't know about, right? She mentioned nonprofits not knowing each other. I love to get together with people to talk about what they do and what we do, right? I'm just not a big meeting person. I'm just not a big, like, in front of people person. It makes me nervous, right? May not seem like it, but it's my job, and that's what I have to do, so I do it. I suck it up, but I'm not a big fan of it. So cultivating relationships is huge because you learn the do's and don'ts. You learn how to just work together and not only do the people not learning things about people we're trying to serve. We learn things about each other and how we can serve each other, right? You learn about their family, their friends, their lifestyles, and you become more than just collaborating partners in a program. You become friends. So I think cultivating relationships is huge.
So I know I'm a facilitator, but I'm also going to be a panelist for just a quick second. The question was, do you take meetings with people? And I do that all the time. And I think that's really important because I met with Charles Frazier from Carta. He's new. We kind of started around the same-ish time. And I just like, hey, do you want to go get lunch and talk about things? So we just talked a little bit. And through that, it was a kind of an unlikely partnership to work with like a library and a bus, the regional transportation system. But as we talked, it was clear we really have the same values, and we were really aligned in wanting to serve people and try new things. And so through that conversation, that's where actually, if you haven't heard, the library has a program called Read and Ride, which actually anyone 5 to 18 years old can get a free pass, like a free bus pass essentially through the library. And so it started off as we'll give this a pilot, we'll give it a shot, let's see what happens. We started it for our summer reading program. It was 2 months, and we were hoping for maybe 500 people to take this thing. Well, it was 3,000. 3,000 kids took that, right? 3,000 rides on there, 1,500 kids. And so we're like, wow, we're onto something. So we extended it for the whole rest of the year. So you'll see it's actually gotten even better than that. And they just recently voted, Carta, to make it a permanent thing. So through this meeting and just realizing we have values that are aligned and we want to be innovative together, that's where that was born out of, a kind of unlikely partnership, if I can say so myself. And now we have almost 11,000 rides on this, just in like these 5 months. And so through that, you can really see this huge impact that comes from just realizing, like, how can we work together, and you recognize you have someone willing and wanting to work with you. So thank you for allowing me to be a panelist today too. So other question? Yeah, one more.
I do not actually have a question, but I just, like what Maggie had said, actually reminded me of a quote. Thank you, Josh. Is just a quote that I remember hearing from a kid that won like this youth award in San Francisco, Brower Youth Awards, if you want some inspiration. But she brought up the African proverb that, like, if you want to go like fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. But we're actually at a time, and this was even a decade ago, but we are in an era of like we need both. So it just reminded me of that. So thanks.
Great. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Does anyone have a burning question that they have to ask, something really great? I'm singing the Jeopardy song in my head because that's the way I know that I've given enough time to let people think about things. All right, well, that's your final answer. So I just want to thank you guys so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it. Let's give it up for this panel again. They did a great job. And even if you don't like panels, I have to say I really like this panel. How about that? So I'll say that. So again, thank you so much, and I hope you feel inspired to go out there, collaborate, go meet with someone, try to find that unlikely scenario that you can, have a partnership and make a difference in the community. So I'm hoping you're feeling inspired at the end of the day, like I am. So thank you so much again, everybody.
Not on mic, but where can everyone kind of follow y'all's journey or connect with you guys? We'll start with you, Will.
I'm on LinkedIn. You can always go to the library. So anytime you go to the library, you can really ask for Will, and I'll be happy to meet with you. can always reach out to me as well too. I'm easy to find. I don't hide very well, so I'm easy to find.
Awesome.
So we're on Instagram, on social media platforms, and we have our website, cornerevolution.com. So on our social media is @cornerevolution. So you can check us out everywhere.
You go to our website. I'm excited because we're going to relaunch a rebranding of our site because some of the actions and things we're doing in the community we had to kind of shift. But I'm excited about that. But you go to the Open Air website, you can find us. You better connect with me there, email, phone number, that kind of stuff. And I give tours all the time. We got 6 acres. We got a 20,000 square foot building. There's 2 or 6 that we like to set tons of and kill it all the time because we just love it. So that's the region.
LinkedIn personally, and then hashtag me on Instagram. I don't wear much of that on Instagram.
Thanks, all. So before you leave, so it is that time of giving. So if you have extra money, give it to one of these guys. But on a serious note, that was serious too. But we have set up in the back on this table and back in the coffee room some of our coffee sleeves with markers. We do something with Be the Change called the Be Kind Initiative. That they actually take our sleeves into schools and businesses and have the students and people that work at those businesses write kind messages on the sleeves. They bring them back to us and then we hand them out to people in the drive-thru. So we have some for you guys if you wanted to write a nice message before you leave, and then we'll take them back, hand them out to a customer. Just don't write anything not nice. That's kind of the rule. But there is a sheet next to all the sleeves that kind of has general instructions. We found we had to be a little more specific because there's some really funny people out there, and sometimes it's too funny. Or our baristas were uncomfortable handing out sleeves that said, "You have a really nice smile." But yeah, so that's. Yeah, it could be a little creepy in either direction. But yeah, so that's a tangible way you can do something now. Another tangible way, talk to someone you haven't met before. I call it the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people you talk to today you probably knew, but let's talk to 20% that you don't know, because the next time they're part of the 80%. So it's how I hack my brain into it. And then please take another pastry before you leave. They're for this, please eat them, and then more coffee. We'll see you again next month in 2025, which is really weird to say. Second Friday of the month, so it'll be whatever the second Friday of January is. And thanks for collabing with us United Way. Thanks, y'all. Have a good Friday.